What's going on, everybody? Anon here, and today we're going to talk about everybody's favorite topic, Pokemon Destined Rivals. So we are effectively a week post-release, and everything that we've kind of projected was going to happen has happened. And all the people that were super bearish, I'm sure they'll come out and change their tune and say, "Oh yeah, we thought this thing was going to outperform the whole time." But I want to walk through it. So some of the singles prices have dropped. Some of the singles prices have rebounded. I know there's been a lot of shit talk on this Rockets Mewtwo, but I'll tell you what. Zero seller, who cares? I mean, your two sales from $400, so you're bouncing back to right where the card should probably be after trading down to, call it mid 200s. I'm sorry, upper 200s. But I want to go back to another spreadsheet. And by the way, as we go talk through this, I do want to mention, I heard a rumor today that there is a wave of super premium collections for Prismatic Evolutions being prepped for release the end of August and early September. Don't know how much it's going to be. I'm sure it's going to be a buttload. Just putting that out there. Use the information for what you will. I personally don't care. We'll get ours from distribution. We'll sell them for a reasonable price, and we'll move on. But if you care, there you go. So going back to the analysis, and this is the relative value analysis. I did a video on this about a week ago. And we basically threw out Destined Rivals as an outlier because the set value was inflated, etc. So the set value is no longer inflated. In fact, I would argue it's settled in, within 10% or so, 15% or so, where it's going to end up for the foreseeable future. Now, if there's a large reprint wave that comes out in 3 months or 4 months, all bets are off, right? But right now, the set value is $1,400 or $1,990, and we'll walk through that in a second. But I want to walk through this first. The box price is $265, and this is what I've been saying for 2 months now. That there is the value of the cards in the set is going to support an inflated box price. So we've walked through this before, and this is very simply just the set value divided, or the box price divided by the set value. So basically, from a relative perspective, if you look at all of this, the Scarlet Violet era sets, how do they stack up? And I think I mentioned multiple times that Surging Sparks has held up relatively well with a bunch of different reprints now for a set value of $1,222 for a booster price or booster box price. That's actually depressed. Well, if we go to Destined Rivals, we're at 13%. So with the set value right around $2,000 and the box price at $265, one of two things is going to have to happen. Either the box price is going to have to go way up, or the value of the cards is going to have to go way down. And quite honestly, to get to like this 19% mark, the box price could be $365, but the set value would have to be shit. You're gonna have to be about $1,350. So you're talking about a 40% haircut from here, which just simply, it's not going to happen. The set is too deep and there's so many valuable cards. So this is a short way of saying that as we currently sit, and I can get no boxes of Destined Rivals from any distributor except for one. I did manage to get a couple cases from one distributor. It was not at pre-release price, but it was at a reasonable price where there's some margin in the box. But other than that, there's nothing out there, which is super interesting. And it's weird. It's weird. It's also weird that 75% of the sets that are for sale, or of the boxes that are for sale on TCG Player, are Trading Card World, which is really bizarre. But hey, whatever. So moving on. So let's talk set value for a second. So this is the original analysis that I did. And I've been tracking this in Surging Sparks and really just looking at from a value perspective. Now, different cards carry different values in Japan. The trainers are way more overvalued in Japan than what they are in the US. In the US, generally nobody gives a shit about them. So I don't know if that's playability, if it's more people just like the anime chicks, anime dudes, whatever. But here's your Japanese price. Here's your normalized Japanese price. And the reason I normalize this is because, when I did this initially, Team Rocket, Gloria Team Rocket just came out. So, I should have probably updated this, but quite honestly, I didn't give a shit because it's not relevant. I know the Mewtwo's actually, I think, still holding like $300, which is really bizarre considering the English card is right around 400. I mean, we just walked through it, sub, 375. But generally speaking, again, this is on average. This is not going to be every single card. The English values for Surging Sparks are approximately 2 times what they are for Japanese cards, the Japanese counterpart. For Prismatic Evolutions, this multiplier was actually about 2.5. Now, a lot of it was the evolutions, so it skewed a little bit. So all I did was I kind of ballparked the normalized Japanese prices, took it times 2 and said, okay, well, this is probably about what the English price is going to be. And the reason I only picked the top cards, the top cards at the time, in my opinion, is because you still have the value of the rest of the set. So the way I looked at it is if we assume the rest of the set's 0, yes, these prices are probably a little bit inflated, but it should be close to hell enough, right? So if we look at my initial projected value of the set, it was about $1,752. If we look at the prices today, you have all the different prices, and quite honestly, the projections that I have overshot these pretty significantly, which is a little bizarre. I mean, Ethan's Ho-Oh in Japanese about the same price as English. Again, I haven't checked the Japanese prices, so I'm sure these have gone down. I would do it, but quite honestly, it's not relevant here. The Gold Mewtwo holding up, the regular Mewtwo holding up. Moltres, I thought this would be a $200 card, but either way, the rest of the set is so deep, it's another $831. So the total set value, and this is just based on Pokedata.io, $1,990. So if we assume the Surging Sparks multiplier, and honestly, this number just went up. So that 17% was before the price went down at 19%. So let's just make this 0.19. This actually makes the math worse. So if this set is priced the same way that Surging Sparks is priced, the relative value of the box compared to the value of the cards in the set, and this might come down another 5-10%. I can't imagine it's going to come down to $1,200 without another significant reprint. The intrinsic value of the box should be somewhere between $350 and $400. And every time I make that point, that jackass Team Rocket Joey's like, well, Anand said to buy it $350 with his fucking veneers. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that the value of the cards in the set relative to the value of the cards in the other sets in the era as a ratio to the box price supports a much higher value than where the boxes are today. So again, that tells me that if you were to buy the boxes at $265, there's enough value in the cards themselves to support that price. Now, things change, reprints happen, new sets come out, old sets get stale, and then they kind of reinvigorate. But looking at it today, $265 is not a ripoff. In fact, it's probably underpriced. So that being said, I want to go through analysis here now that we have a relatively mature price. And we can go back to TCG Player just for 1 second here. We can take a look at the box prices, which are absolutely through the freaking roof. And this is, here we go. Here is the dump that we see every day at release where all the idiot stores decide to panic sell. And here is where we're going from now. And the other thing I do want to mention is there's not really an opportunity to scalp these booster boxes because they're not sold in big box stores. I mean, you have a couple guys here that are no-name sellers, but these are guys that probably paid MSRP in their LGS, and they're running around with a chubby trying to make $40 off a box, high-fiving their mom and their dad, and shit like that. So you don't have the same characteristics that you had with Destined Rivals ETB, Destined Rivals, Prismatic Evolutions ETBs, because there were tens and if not hundreds of thousands of those that ended up getting scalped through big box stores. That's not happening here, and that's why you're not seeing the downward pressure. In fact, you're seeing a pretty sizable rebound. So anyway, guys, want to walk through this. Hopefully it was helpful. Just kidding, Team Rocket Joey. Your veneers look fantastic. Keep up the good work. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, join the Discord. We're going to be running our black and white sale probably 30 days from now. In the meantime, we'll have Edge of Eternities coming out, after this Final Fantasy fiasco. And, have a good night. We'll talk soon.